Welcome back to the show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., Josh Darrow, Miami and Michigan State. 12 o'clock kickoff at Hard Rock Stadium. Michigan State has been very impressive so far. Mel Tucker rebuilding his team. Got a lot of transfers, got a lot of players from the South on his team, and he's got a quarterback that's pretty good, dual threat quarterback, Peyton Thorne, who is operating the offense right now at a very high level.
Thorne came in, had experience last year in the COVID year, had some games where he had tons of consistency, 11 and 12 completions in ball games, and he's coming from a conference where he got pressured. I mean, there's some big games, whether it was Penn State, it didn't matter who it was. He's seen it before. He's not going to be intimidated down here. But then you go back to Coach Tucker. He's a guy that 10 years experience in the National Football League, been with Coach Saban, been at Georgia, been anywhere and everywhere, put a lot of guys in the pros, and he has an idea of what he wants to accomplish.
Yeah, first of all, they've got the key position settled, right? It was up and down. For the whole season was up and down. The whole Big Ten Conference was up and down a year ago. He's coming into a new team in his first year with Coe, but he's solidified the quarterback position. And then really he's been able to enhance and get his team going in the right direction. He plucked the portal. They lost 22, they gained 15. I mean, they've got guys at every position. They got guys in the running back position, tight end. They got the whole secondary who's basically built through the portal. So it's a blessing and a curse that he ran guys off and then he brought guys in, and they don't have to have that drastic dip. And really, there's been no dip at all. They beat a conference foe to start the year, and they took down Youngstown State. And the other thing too is they've been playing ahead. They had Northwestern up 3 or 4 touchdowns, and the same thing, they were up I think 35-7 at the half against Youngstown State. So they're used to playing with the lead, which would be interesting down here. If we can get up on them, can they put it in the quarterback's hands and let him lead them back?
Mel Tucker is a guy, and you touched on this, a lot like Nick Saban. He's only going to recruit certain style of players. They have to fit the right weight and size for each position. Now the portal, one of the best players who got out of that portal is Kenneth Walker, the running back, and Walker has been great for them so far. Perfect fit for Michigan State. Behind the big offensive line, run the cutback play. Walker's got great speed, almost 300 yards in 2 games.
Joe, we knew Walker because he came from the ACC, right, guys? He was a guy that was at Wake Forest. He's powerful, he's got top-end speed, and he must be in hog heaven, literally, right? Running behind that offensive line that he's got, something that he didn't have as much beef and girth that they have now at Michigan State when he was at Wake Forest. So he's living it, and he's producing.
It must be, you live in the Midwest, dude. You should be beefy and girthy, right? I mean, there's a lot of cow out there to eat, but they come back in game 2 and it's with another back going for 100 yards. I actually really like their receivers too. The Reed kid is impressive on film. Watched him in the first game against Northwestern. The other kid they have is a speedster. So it looks like the quarterback settled in the second game, was highly efficient. I think he completed 75% of his passes. So, but it all starts, as we've all talked about, you got to stop the run. I mean, if we have our preference, we'd rather put it in the quarterback's hands, right, and try and get some pressure on him and play it on the back end. And we know what Michigan State is going to do. So the key is shutting that team down. Like we said, they're close to 300 yards in each of their games. I think one game they averaged close to 9 yards a carry. The other game, almost 8 yards a carry. That's almost unheard of. You know what I mean? So we know what the plan of attack is going to be for Michigan State.
They have played a lot of guys on defense. They had some injuries on their defensive line. They play a 4-2-5 defense. Really getting great production out of their safety position. They've struggled a little bit on 3rd down. They've had teams in a pickle, so teams have had to go for it on 4th down. They have converted against them on 4th down, but a big key for Miami, something Coach Diaz talked about, red zone, but also Miami's got to do a better job with their 3rd down offense.
Well, it's good for Miami that they're going to be running that 4-man front. They see it at practice a lot. It's something App State did an odd front with 3 men, so they're used to it. I think that Miami, the movement of the defense of Michigan State is not quite as quick, obviously, as we saw against Alabama. They're a size bigger than what we had against App State, but they're well coached and they like to bring pressure constantly.
Yeah, and I think the key for 3rd down offense is really 1st and 2nd down offense, right? And I think the thing that's been hurting Miami is, there's been penalties, there's been drops. They've kind of been hurting themselves, and when you get yourself into those, 3rd and plus situations, now we've seen the coverages where teams don't want to get beat on the deep ball by Miami, right? They're going to play back and say, you've got to convert, you have to execute, we're going to count on you to make a mistake. But really it starts on first down. And the other key for Miami is not only getting to better third down situations, but of course we all know it's getting to the first down. And then they want to rev the tempo, and then hopefully, in this game particularly, is Michigan State, can they keep up, and also can they stand up? Because again, we loving the noon start and the high heat.
Well, we talked about the transfer portal. They've got a cornerback, Kimbrough, from Florida. They've got another cornerback, Williams, from Alabama. And they've got a linebacker who transferred in from Tennessee. So very much like a Southeastern Conference defense. We'll continue on the show right after this.
With UHealth Virtual Clinics, you can see our experts in every specialty wherever you are.
University of Miami health system providers are available here for all your healthcare needs.
All you need is a phone or tablet to schedule a virtual visit with us.
See a UHealth provider virtually today or at a time that's convenient for you.
Visit umiamihealth.org/virtual clinics or call 305-243-4000.
Sure are a lot of different drivers out there, and AutoNation is here for every one of them. The 10 and 2ers, the big fellas, nothing but the besters, even rock stars. But we do way more than sell new and pre-owned vehicles. We believe in something bigger, too. For every vehicle we sell or service, we donate to Drive Out Cancer. Over $28 million so far. What drives you, drives us. AutoNation.